If you asked me to name just one thing, one mistake that destroys more poker players than anything else, it's simple: playing too many hands. I'm Terry Wood from PokerRailbird.com, and today we're going to take a serious look at why patience, discipline, and smart hand selection aren't just suggestions. They're the foundation of winning poker. Ignore them, and you're setting yourself up for failure before the first card even hits the board. Now, before we even talk about specific hands, let's look at what you're actually being dealt most of the time. Because poker isn't about what you wish you're holding, it's about what the cards really give you. Hand after hand after hand. Take a look at this. Almost 30% of the time, you're dealt pure trash. Nothing suited, nothing connected, nothing you can realistically work with. Just trash. Another 41%? Straight draws. But let's be honest, that number lumps everything together. It includes straight connectors like 9-8 or 7-6, about a 9% probability, or 10.11 to 1 odds to make a straight, pre-flop to river. One gap hands like 9-7, about a 7% probability, or 13.29 to 1 odds. Two gap hands like 9-6, also about 7%, same odds. And even three gap hands where you've only got a 4% probability, 24 to 1 odds, practically wishing on a star. Now let's talk about suited cards. You're dealt suited cards about 24% of the time overall. But here's reality. About 118 to 1 against flopping a made flush. About a 10.94% chance, or 8.14 to 1 odds, to flop a flush draw. And if you flop a flush draw, you have about a 35% chance, or 1.86 to 1 odds, to complete it by the river. Even if you hit your flush. If you're holding something like 10-9 suited, there's about a 35% chance another player also holds 2 of your suit, and a 61.8% chance their highest card beats your 10. And it's not like pocket pairs save you either. You're dealt a random pair about 6% of the time. And if you're dreaming about aces or kings, that's about a 0.45% for any specific pocket pair. Set mining? Sure, you'll flop a set about 12% of the time, roughly 7.5 to 1 odds. So if you're sitting there bored, telling yourself every hand is worth seeing the flop, understand this. The cards you're dealt aren't special. They're not lucky. They're mostly trash. Now let's take a real-world example, because math doesn't lie. Say you're holding 9-6 of spades. Alright, let's actually break it down. Maybe you flop 2 pair, about a 2% chance, 49 to 1 odds. Maybe you flop trips, about a 1% chance, 99 to 1 odds. Most likely, you completely miss the flop or hit a lone 9 or 6, about 32% of the time, 2.13 to 1 odds. And if you flop that 9, now you've got middle pair with no kicker. Exactly where you want to be, right? Smack in the middle of no man's land. But wait, you could make a straight. With a 2-gap hand like 9-6, you've got about a 7% probability, 13.29 to 1 odds, pre-flop to river. Not exactly booking your trip to the cashier's cage. Flopping a made flush? About 118 to 1. Flopping a flush draw? About a 10.94% probability. And then only about a 35% chance of completing it by the river. Even if you complete the flush, you're stuck with a 9 high. And there's a 35% probability someone else is holding 2 of your suit, and a 61.8% chance their highest card crushes your 9. If you flop a 9, 80% chance an overcard lands on the flop alongside your 9. But if it doesn't, then there is a 40% chance one hits on the turn, 45% chance one lands on the river. And your kicker is a 6, might as well be a nutkin. And let's not forget, you're in there against players chasing junk straights, junk flushes, 2 pair, and anticipating all kinds of ways to lose more money. This is the trap. And players fall into it hand after hand, day after day, because they can't fold garbage. If you only fix one thing in your poker game, fix this. Play fewer hands. Play better hands. And watch what happens. Every hand you fold that you used to play, that's not weakness. That's strength. That's discipline. That's real poker. Look, every hand we talked about today, hands like 9-6 suited, all the low flush draws, all the desperate straight draws. They're played in poker rooms around the world every single day. And they win pots. Every day, somewhere, someone wins a pot with them. But played over and over, day after day, hand after hand. Those hands lose more money than they win. Every day, everywhere. Because long-term math doesn't lie. I'm not suggesting that you to never play these hands. Poker isn't about rigid rules. It's about making smart decisions based on math, table dynamics, and player tendencies. There are situations where playing a hand like 9-6 suited can be perfectly fine. You might be deep stacked, you might be in position, you might be exploiting a particular opponent. Poker is a situational game, but you can't just mindlessly play weak hands every time you're dealt them and expect good results. You need to know your math, know your opponents, know your table, and most importantly, be selective. Pick your spots, choose your battles. Because if you're playing every weak hand every time, you're not playing poker anymore. You're just gambling. And that's just mistake number 1. In the next video, we're going to talk about the second biggest leak I see at the table. Overvaluing garbage hands like they're gold. You're not going to want to miss that one. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you there.